Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Hope everybody's having a great day today. It is Wednesday, April 17th. I can't believe we're halfway through April. I mean, we're so far into 2024 at this point. It seems like New Year's was yesterday. It's crazy how fast time moves. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great year so far, and I hope you're having a great day today. And today we are going to, this is the first time, we're going to review an IEM, or I'm going to review an IEM for you that was provided to me by Cyan Dunce, the parent company of TIPSY. And the IEM that we are going to review today, or look at today, is the TIPSY X EPZ Star and 1. So I'm very excited about this. That being said, I was not asked to say anything specific about this set, and all thoughts and opinions are my own, because I obviously want to be honest, truthful, and as indifferent as possible when reviewing a set, even if it was provided to me. But I will say thank you to TIPSY for doing this. Anyway, Star and 1. It is a single DD liquid crystal polymer PU composite, 10 millimeter diameter, and it is a dual magnetic circuit dual cavity design. The shells, as you can see, 3D printed with a very nice handmade faceplate. Lots of like almost mother of pearl going on there. Just really nice intricate detail on the faceplate. Like lovely. Actually, let me do this. There we go. Shed a little more light onto the situation. EPZ on one side, TIPSY on the other. So build quality is really nice. They're 3D printed resin, as I may have mentioned, but they feel very, very smooth, very well done. Very, very good finish on them. And let's see, the connection's going to be a 2-pin QDC, so a recessed 2-pin connection for the cable. This is not the cable. I'll show you the cable that's in the box when we do the unbox here in just a moment. Specs here we have, as I mentioned, the dual cavity, dual magnetic circuit, 10 millimeter LCP/PU composite diaphragm. Frequency response is from 20 Hz to 40 kilohertz, which for us humans is effectively 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. It is a high impedance, low sensitivity set. So the impedance on this is a whopping 64 ohms, and the sensitivity is 112 decibels. Now, that doesn't seem low, but in relation to the impedance, it definitely is, lower because of the high impedance. Box is quite simple, professional, basic. IEMs come in this nice foam protection here with the cable attached. They also had, there's the cable. And just a set, small, medium, and large, of stock ear tips, or just basically silicone, normal bore. I didn't use those, and I'll get into why. Not because there was anything wrong with them. There wasn't. It's my ears that are the problem, as I've come to find out. Little information card with a QR code on the back, so you can scan that and get more information from their website, should you so choose. But yeah, no waifus, just info. I mean, it's nice. So immediately, I'm kind of thinking professional on this set, because it just kind of looks professional. The cable itself, the cable that comes with it, aka the stock cable, is oxygen-free copper, silver-plated. As I mentioned, connections are QDC, recessed 2-pin, and plastic, Y-split. It could be aluminum, I suppose. It might be plastic, it's just painted. But anyway, it feels solid enough. The Y-split and the chin slider are functional. Cable itself is non-tangly at all. Like, it's just really kind of nice. Feels very nice. And, you know, it's what I call last time dainty. It is a, you know, a fairly thin cable, but it's definitely not microphonic, not tangly, and absolutely 100% useful. So this might actually be aluminum. I see the gold plating on the connection, terminates in a 3.5. You know, that's really the only reason I didn't use it, because with my setup, it's just a lot easier for me to go from amp to amp to amp and back again using the 4.4 rather than using a 3.5 in the adapter. That doesn't come with it, I just have to keep it out. So cable that was used for these was my usual Triple Winzoni. This one's in moss. I stole it from the TRN, I think it was on the Conch, maybe the VX Pro. No, it was on the Conch actually. So borrowing it for the past few days for the review. And this is a very nice cable, and it paired up with the IEMs quite well. Let's see, anything else about this as far as just, oh yeah, the colorway. So the colorway is, the black is called Broken Night Star. It also comes in a white finish, which I believe was reviewed in that colorway by Awesome Danny. So if you want to see that colorway, you can check out his channel. He's great. You should check out his channel anyway. Here, there you go. Just type that into YouTube, he'll come up, and there's Sunny. Cool dude, cooler cat. Anyway, good dude. Yeah, that's going to be your specs, and that's your unbox. And build quality and nozzle length. This is where my ears ran into a problem, and it may not be a problem for you, but it was for me. I could not get good seal or enough insertion depth with the stock tips. So moving right along, I ended up with, well, I used 5 different types of tips in testing, and ended up really liking the ASLA crystal tips the best because of the seal and the sound quality, and the frequency response seemed to be the best with those. What also did work, these tips are the balanced ear tips from Canera, from the Idun Golden. Those are stock tips from that set. Also from that set, vocal ear tips. Just a little bit short, so couldn't quite get the insertion depth, but they did sound good. Good seal. Almost ended up doing most of the testing with the Divinus Velvet tips. As you can see, more cylindrical shape. That works better for me in my ear canal, my weird ear canals. And then the Duna SS tips, usually they actually help bring up bass, but in this case it was the opposite effect. So I'm not going to recommend those tips for this set, for me anyway. We'll put those over there. So yeah, the top 2 recommends would definitely be the ASLA crystal tips or the Divinus Velvet tips. And if you have some Canera tips kicking around, either the vocal or the balance tips, those would also work. And this is only if you're having trouble with the fit and the insertion depth with the stock tips, because with this set, those 2 things are absolutely critical. So when I first tried them out, and I try everything with stock first, cable included, when I first tried them out with the medium size stock silicone normal bore ear tips, I was a little concerned because they came across as being both thin and shouty. And so, you know, I did not want to have my first ever, you know, IM supplied by the manufacturer review be a lukewarm or a negative one. I mean, that's what it would have been if, you know, that had been how the IMs properly presented themselves, but it wasn't. So as soon as I got the fit and insertion depth, also important, fixed with these different tips, the IEMs turned into what I think they were supposed to be, or what they are supposed to be to start with, and that is they are reference grade IEMs. So the title of this video is, you know, Star in One, Musician's Friend, engineer's agent. It's another word for tool. Because if I were a professional musician or an engineer, sound engineer, this would be an IM that I would definitely use. So let's get into why. All right, we'll start with the frequency response on these. And I think that the way these are tuned is exceptional, especially in regards to being, a referencey type set. This little vent here also, I think, adds to it. The bass, all right, so starting from the lowest to the low, the sub bass response on these is not an area of focus. So the lowest hits on tracks like Slaughter to Prevail, the low bass synth hits on that, and a little bit on Desires, I think, just misses on the lowest of the lows. Okay? Not every set has to hit those super low notes well to be a good set, and these don't. So, but I still think they're a great set for hip hop and R&B as I get ahead of myself. Sub bass I would call adequate, but not excellent. What is excellent is the mid bass. The mid bass on these is freaking sick. We're talking about presence, attack and decay, fast transients, full, rich, satisfying, punchy bass, punchy, thumpy bass. The impressive part of that is that the presence of these is to the point where you think you're going to get bleed and you don't. So that's where that transience comes in and the decay comes in. The mid bass is all the way there. That's why hip hop and R&B sounded so good on them. But it does not bleed into the mids. Going into the mids are very present, very clear, and very detailed. This is a fairly mid-centric set. It's almost a W shape. If I'm a sound engineer, I want that because I want to hear everything equally, right? So I know what I need to adjust, whether I need to bring vocals forward or move them back, whether I need to bring guitars forward or move them back, whether I need to bring the drums forward or move them back, or the cymbals, or whatever I need to do. I can tell what I need to do with these because of how they present. That said, you get into the pinna gain, into the upper mids, lower treble, there is some energy there. Quite a bit of energy there. Okay, when I mentioned earlier, without the proper fit, without the proper seal on your ear tips, that energy is shouty and kind of aggressive. But when you do have the correct fit and insertion depth, it is just energetic. Super detailed and really, really clinical, surgical. So again, another thing with the referencey tuning of these, I want that if I'm a musician or a sound engineer. That's what I want. And then you get into the treble, and the treble again has got extension. It's got a little bit of air, but there's a dip, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe right around 8 to 10K, and then it comes back up for the air region. That dip is actually probably where sibilance occurs, because even though the set is really extended in the treble and detailed, I don't find it very sibilant at all. Now, a little tiny bit, yeah, but if you're going to have that much detail, that much air, and that much energy in the treble, then you get sibilance along with it. There's you can't have one without the other. But what they do to control that on these is what's impressive. It's so well tuned in the treble. I gotta say, really, really well done. Speaking of details, there are a lot of details that come to the forefront with this set that I have not heard in the past. The Star in One allows you to hear things like, all right, here's an example, Blue Train, John Coltrane, he does, he's plays saxophone solo, trumpet solo, trombone solo, grand piano. During the solos of those instruments, you can hear, without fail, the grand piano strings resonating with those instruments, like creating harmonics, like echoing in that grand piano chamber. That is some crazy shit right there. Also, there's another, there's so many little things about this, and that, again, going back to the professional musician, sound engineer, there are so many little things that these pick up that I had not either been aware of or really had been paying attention to before. Oh yeah, there's on Know Your Enemy, we're getting into the test tracks now, Know Your Enemy by Rage Against the Machine, something I'd never heard before. There's actually a delay and echo of Zach De La Rocha's voice that I'd never heard before. It's like right after he says "Know Your Enemy," and before the next part of the song kicks in, there's actually a delay where you can hear that "Know Your Enemy, know your enemy, know your enemy," so low, but audible for the first time with the star in one. Damn, that's saying some stuff. I mean, these are a $90 IM at their most expensive, and usually a good deal less. To be able to get that kind of performance out of an IEM this inexpensive, relatively speaking, I mean, wow. That's all I gotta say. You've got tracks like Diamonds, where the 3D imaging that's mixed into the track, just all over the place with these, in the best way. Not all over the place confusing, but all over the place, wow. Chocolate Chip Trip, Tool, that drum solo with the multiple percussion instruments, you can hear them interplaying with each other in those second, third, fourth resonances or harmonics. The gong strike, 35 seconds until the end of the song, is audible for that entire 35 seconds and is still going on when the song cuts. Okay. So I think probably your question is this. All right, first of all, what does it not do well? And let's go through it, okay? It does everything that I listen to really well, with the exception of two bands and maybe bands similar to these two bands. So, yes, on pop, K-pop, rock, hip-hop, jazz, R&B, classical, arias, acoustic, Chris Cornell singing I Am the Highway live. Oh my god, that was good. Same with Melody Gardot's voice on If You Love Me. Oh my god, good. Just they're sitting right in front of you. Yes, so instrumental music, acoustic music, these are fantastic. There are literally two tracks that they didn't play well. Just two out of the entire, whatever, 60, 70 tracks I've got that I use to test with now. Those tracks were I Don't Believe in Love by Queensryche from the 80s. Okay, so the mixing and mastering, the recording of that, super high-toned, super bright, that in combination with the pinna gain and the treble on the TIPSY star in one was too much. It was just over the top. I had to stop, change the song. Turned it down first, and I was like, no. Okay, that's one. And then the other song was Agony by Slaughter to Prevail, was just too much distortion. Because these are so transparent and so surgical that it didn't mix well with that track. I thought, because I next went on to Brand of Sacrifice, I thought that was going to be equally as quote-unquote bad but it wasn't. For whatever reason, the recording of that track, Demon King, played just fine on them. So I don't know. Anyway, that's like a 97.9% success rate on my test tracks. That's pretty smoking. That's pretty hot. Because of that, and I give a metal rating on all of my sets now, it gets an 8.5 out of 10 instead of a 9. That's all. Because I love Slaughter to Prevail, and the fact that I can't listen to Slaughter to Prevail on them that knocks a 1.5 off. And that's not really fair to them, but that's me, For just about all metal, they are solid, like a solid 9 out of 10, I would say. It's just the really aggressive stuff is probably going to be too much. Oh boy. I think probably you guys are questioning at this point, well, okay, Chris, so they're surgical, they're clinical, they're detailed, they're extended, and the treble. Like, all of these things lead me to believe that they might just be too cold and clinical for, like, enjoyment. Like, okay, so yeah, if I'm analyzing, that's great. This is a great analytical set. But if I just want to chill out and enjoy music, well, can I do that too with them? Yes. The answer is yes. You absolutely can. Are they going to grab your attention a little bit? Probably, yeah. I don't know if I would call these a background set, but you certainly don't have to, like, just sit there and, focus only on the music. You can do things. They fit really well. They're very comfortable. You can leave them in for hours. I did cleaning, so the isolation's good too, by the way, because dishes, vacuuming, dusting, laundry, the usual stuff that I do since I'm home most of the time. They were great for that. They definitely had me paying attention though, so I wouldn't suggest trying to read or do work or something like that, because if you're doing something physical, that's one thing. But if you're trying to do something that requires your attention, these are going to steal it. So, conclusions. I would say these get a highly recommended from me. A, because of their performance. B, because of their price. Do they have the greatest accessories? No, it's very, very basic. But I'm pretty confident in recommending them despite that, because if you have to spend an extra $15 on some ear tips that work better for you, fine. You don't have to replace the cable unless you want to. So if you have to spend another 15 or $20 on a cable because you want a 4.4, go ahead. You don't have to. It still keeps them super competitive with what's out there, even if you add that extra $30 on. I don't have a problem with it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I already had the stuff, so I don't have to, but that they're absolutely 100% worth it, without a doubt. Just be ready, because they are going to definitely grab your attention. And I will say it one more time: if they sound too thin, bright, and shouty, you don't have a good seal. You don't have good enough insertion depth. Once you get that, they are brilliant. Really, really good. So with that, we're going to wrap the review. Really happy with these. I'm very happy that Tromso is going to be next from those guys. They sent that to me as well. So thank you again to Cian Dunce. I hope I'm pronouncing that the right way. Yeah, the TIPSY X EPZ Star in 1. Definitely a good set. Definitely a referencey set. Definitely a highly detailed set. And definitely a recommended set. So that's going to wrap it. Thanks, y'all, for your support and everything. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to you, and we will see ya.